It's 8:03 on Monday morning, November 10th. We're at 41 degrees, highs only reaching the mid-40s to low 50s today, partly sunny. Good morning, I'm Michelle Basch.
I'm John Aaron. Our top story, the end of the longest government shutdown in history could finally be in sight. That's because several Senate Democrats joined their Republican colleagues yesterday and voted to move a compromise bill forward. The plan would fund the government through January with the agreement that a later vote will be held on whether to extend Affordable Care Act tax credits that expire January 1st.
Yesterday's vote was just a procedural one, so there's still a long way to go before the government would reopen. WTOP's Mitchell Miller has more today on the Hill.
There are significant things that the legislation would not do. It would not reopen all federal government programs, and it doesn't include a year-long extension of subsidies to the Affordable Care Act to avoid hikes in insurance premiums that Democrats have sought and proposed last week. Also, Democratic senators opposed to the latest legislation can hold it up procedurally. In addition, there's the matter of the House needing to pass any new legislation. House members have been out of session since September 19th and would need to come back to Washington for a final vote before the government can reopen.
Again, that's WTOP Capitol Hill correspondent Mitchell Miller.
Flights to and from many airports continue to be cut back to address staffing issues brought on by this shutdown. Checking the airports in our region right now at Reagan National, 69 flights are canceled, 31 are delayed. At Dulles, 35 have been canceled, 26 are delayed. And at B.W.I. Marshall, there are 34 cancellations and 28 delays. Since Friday, the FAA has ordered flight reductions of 4% at the nation's busiest airports to improve safety, as an increasing number of air traffic controllers call out sick rather than work without pay. That number of reductions is set to increase to 6% tomorrow and reach 10% by Friday if the shutdown continues. Yesterday, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned that U.S. air traffic could slow to a trickle if the shutdown lingers into the busy Thanksgiving travel season.
The governor of Maryland and the incoming governor of Virginia say it's critical to their state's economies and residents that the federal government shutdown end. WTOP's Sandy Kozel reports both Democrats appeared yesterday on CBS's Face the Nation.
You could say Virginia and Maryland are feeling the pain of the government shutdown more strongly than other states because so many federal workers live there.
I want the government reopened now.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore.
We have over 260,000 federal workers within our state that even before the shutdown, Donald Trump had fired over 15,000 Maryland workers, federal workers.
Virginia Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger knows the feeling.
My priority is focusing on the needs and the devastation, frankly, that more than 300,000 Virginians are facing. And that's just the federal employees, government contractors. They will never get made whole.
She does say they need everyone to vote to open the government, including Congress and the president. Sandy Kozel, WTOP News.
We're awaiting new legal developments surrounding the security surge in the nation's capital. A hearing is set for this afternoon in West Virginia over the deployment of that state's National Guard to D.C. A civic group is suing, saying West Virginia's governor exceeded his authority by deploying up to 300 Guard members to the nation's capital. The governor's office has argued the deployment was authorized under federal law. While the West Virginia National Guard has said its deployment could last until the end of November, it's consulting with the governor's office and others on the possibility of extending the stay. Formal orders were issued last week extending the deployment of the D.C. National Guard in the city through the end of February.
The tough times continue for the Burgundy and Gold.
Goff Williams, he's been the main target during this series, and he is in for a Lions touchdown. Jamison Williams.
That was the call on Fox. The Lions beating the Commanders yesterday 44-22. That is 5 losses in a row for Washington, bringing their record to 3-7. Next, the team travels to Madrid for an early Sunday morning matchup against the Miami Dolphins. Here's WTOP sports anchor Dave Preston, who joined us earlier.
Dolphins have won 2 of 3. This is an any given Sunday week. This is a week-to-week league, and I think Miami's playing well. Can they sustain that play? They've yet to win consecutive games this year, so I'd be confident if I were Washington if I didn't know how bad they were defending.
President Trump stopped by to watch the game yesterday from a suite at Northwest Stadium. He was met with both cheers and boos from fans.
Coming up in Money News.
A trendy toy store comes to Bethesda's Montgomery Mall. I'm Steve Dresner.
Traffic and weather in 30 seconds.